Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Hello and welcome to the Milpitas Candidate Forums, brought to you by the Milpitas Beat and StageOne Creative Spaces, live from our studio floor. I'm your host, Christopher Denise. Thank you for watching. Today, I'm joined by the candidates for Milpitas Unified School District's Board of Education. We have 5 candidates with us tonight. In alphabetical order, they are Robert Jung, Anu Naka, Chris Norwood, Suraj Viswanathan, and Kelly Yip Chuan. Thank you for joining us tonight. Before we get started, I would like to thank our hosts and sponsors, the Milpitas Beat and StageOne Creative Spaces, as well as the team behind the scenes here at the studio. Our producers, Rhoda Shapiro and Kimberly Platt, our camera operator, Isaiah Flores, who is being replaced by Eric Shapiro tonight, our assistant producer, Eric Shapiro, our other assistant producer and switcher, Kevin Brown, and of course our timekeeper, Maria Denise is that Cuenca? Cuenca, all right. I should have asked earlier. We couldn't do this without all the folks back there doing all the hard work you don't see. Now, we'd like to begin our program. We're going to begin by giving each candidate 2 minutes for opening statements. We'll then move into our questions, where each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond. I'll remind everyone here that this forum is not a debate. In the spirit of fair play, please pay attention to the timekeeper, right over there, as I will cut you off abruptly for exceeding the time limit, and if we have to, our sound mixer will turn off your mic. Also, once a candidate has finished speaking, please wait until I turn the discussion over to the next candidate before proceeding. Once we have exhausted our questions, we will end our program with closing statements, also giving candidates 2 minutes each to make their case for your vote. Our timekeeper will signal our candidates when they have 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Once a candidate hits 2 minutes, you'll see the stop sign pop up. Please end your conversation then. One last thing I'd like to remind the audience out there in the internet that our comment section are public and live, so please be civil. We all live, work, and play together in Milpitas. Let's keep it that way. Let's start with the candidate to my left, and we'll rotate each question after that. Starting with open statements, Chris Norwood, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, Milpitas. My name is Chris Norwood, and I am running for re-election to the Milpitas Unified School Board of Trustees. I have a long history in the city of Milpitas. I started out in elementary school, middle school, high school, and I am a current resident at 1546 Mount Shasta Avenue. I have 40+ years of involvement in schools in the city of Milpitas. I deeply care about our education system. 8 years ago, in 2014, I began to invest my time, my talent, and my treasure from being involved in education institutions all around the Bay Area into the Milpitas Unified School District. My children are products of Milpitas schools. My son is currently a freshman at San Jose State University majoring in aeronautical engineering, and my daughter is now a senior at Cal Poly with majoring in psychology. When I first ran for the school board, I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know the amount of time that it would take. But since I began in 2014, I have spent every week learning more and more about the public education system. I've had the opportunity to review the education code. I've had the opportunity to work and communicate with each of our principals, our assistant principals, and most of all, you, the community. I've heard your voices. I've heard your asks for equity. I've heard your asks for computer science. I've heard your asks for STEM programs, better buildings, better securities, and slowly but surely, over my last 8 years, I've continued to build towards those things. Fast forward to 2020, COVID hits, March 13th. The Milpitas Unified School District was one of the first in the nation to pivot from the schools being closed to online learning. Now, some of our students were successful, but many were not. There was significant learning loss in the Milpitas Unified School District as well as across the nation. I understand these challenges. I understand the problems that we face moving forward in supporting our children.
Thank you. Your time is done. Anu Naka.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Anu Naka, and I'm here to thank, first of all, the Milpitas Beat and the StageOne for having me here. And this is a great opportunity, and I am proud and privileged to be alongside all the candidates who are here, who are running for the school board. And I'm a longtime resident in Milpitas, and I have two children who are girls, who are the product, who are still in the Milpitas Unified School District, attending the schools. And I've seen their education for over kinder till 12th grade. I have a senior in Milpitas High School. And I've been part of PTA and PTSAs for over a decade now, and I'm still serving, which is helping me to understand the first-hand perspective of the parents and the teachers. So recently I've served as a chair for the successful Measure E campaign, which is bringing in $1.6 million for the schools every year for over a period of 8 years to the MUSD schools to support all the STEM programs. I'm a passionate educator, and I'm a continuous learner. I pursued my doctorate in finance, and I have a master's in computer sciences as well. With my education expertise and the experience that I have been serving at various schools in the PTA and PTSA, and also the volunteering at the Girl Scouts, at the Community Emergency Response Team for the city, and the Rotary and many other organizations, I believe I'm a stronger candidate for the school board. When elected, I would have my priorities, such as creating connected community with the open and transparent communication between the parents, teachers, and the board itself.
Thank you. Your time is up. Go ahead and pass the mic. Robert Jung.
Good evening. My name is Robert Jung. I'm a candidate for the Milpitas Unified School District. As a 28-year Milpitas resident, I'm dedicated to helping build a stronger community. To me, a stronger community means that we have a strong education system. It is a cornerstone of a strong community. I want to see that all of our schools are able to provide pathways for success for our students. Has grown up in an immigrant family, I firsthand have seen how important and how education can be an equalizer in our families of need. And I want to make sure that we are able to seize those opportunities for those folks. This is why I'm so passionate about education. Having been a past board member and involved in our school district for over 18 years, I've seen how our district has grown. With the World Languages School, the upcoming Innovation Center, and the new Performing Arts Center, Milpitas Unified is in a unique position to offer its students a world-class opportunity and truly become a leader in our county. With the right experienced leadership, we can take Milpitas Unified to the next level. We can do this by making investments in our academic and ensuring that we provide enrichment opportunities for all students while expanding resources for those that are underserved, especially our younger ones who we want to make sure that we can have those kids start at par at kindergarten. We want to make sure we provide kids.
Thank you. That is your time. Okay. Kelly Yip Chuan.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening. Thank you, Milpitas Beat and StageOne for hosting this event so that our voters can know each other better. Hello, my name is Kelly Yip Chuan, and I'm currently running for re-election to the Milpitas Unified School District Board of Trustees. I am currently serving as the MUSD Board President. My previous roles included being the Vice President and Board Clerk of the MUSD since being elected in 2018. My community involvement includes being a Board Director and an Ambassador for the Milpitas Chamber of Commerce, and a Board Director and a past President of the Milpitas Rotary Club. My husband and I, we have 3 children who are currently attending MUSD. Our 6th grader is at Burnett Elementary School, our 8th grader is at Russell Middle School, and our 11th grader is at Milpitas High School. Prior to joining the school board, I have held various positions on the PTA board, the school site council, the Community Board of Advisory Council, known as the CBAC. I have also substituted in my children's school for several years as I have my CBEST. I have been a Milpitas resident since 2008. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in law and society from UC Santa Barbara. Outside of my school involvement, I own and operate a successful real estate company, which deals with mortgages as well in Milpitas. I bring my entrepreneur skills to help school fundraise. My priorities: campus safety for students and staff, early childhood education, alleviation of overcrowding at Milpitas High School, staff recruitment, and educator housing. I'm invested in our children, their education, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Siraj Viswanathan.
Hi, my name is Suraj Viswanathan. Back in 2004, I moved, when I was about 21 years, with a $100 bill. I moved to Milpitas. And I'm proud to say this city has been wonderful to me, and I've grown with the city. I got married in 2010 in the city of Milpitas again, and had my son, my first son, who goes to a Milpitas Unified School District school, Mabel Matos. Like I did, and I grew with Milpitas, my son, who started as a first grader, that's when the Mabel Matos started. And he grew with the school district, and he's at sixth grade right now. And my second son goes to the same school, and he's on the first grade. So I'm here to contribute as a parent. I'm also an engineer by profession, and I have an engineering background, but I also am involved in sports. I was the director for USA Cricket, where I just concluded a $1 billion deal. And as a result, we are building the $40 million stadium in Santa Clara County Fairgrounds. That is one of the things that I did recently. I also worked with the Milpitas Unified School District on their Citizen Bond Oversight Committee, thanks to Chris, who invited me to be part of the committee in 2018. It was a $284 million bond expenditure, and I served on the board of that committee and basically have learned about the nuances of where the taxpayers' money have been spent. I want to run for the board because I want to serve as a parent in the school district and bring the valuable information that a parent can contribute, and also my expertise as an engineer and an entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great answers, all of you. With that, we're going to move on to questions. Let's go ahead and pass the baton back to Anu Naka. I'm going to make sure I get everybody's last name in here. Our first question is a big, very long one. Our school district recently made waves when it asked families to rent out spare bedrooms to educators as a solution to the lack of affordable housing in Milpitas. Many have been critical of this move. Some feel it will do nothing in the long term to support our teachers who one day want to be able to own a home in the city that they work in. What kinds of practical solutions do you think will be effective in attracting and retaining the talented educators necessary to maintain the high quality of our schools? And can you back up your claim?
Thank you, Chris. That's a great question. Of course, I would say giving out the high salaries for the teachers is the best way to retain the talented teachers and our educators in our school district, right? And we can go to only certain levels at the board level if you look at it. So in addition, I believe that there are 3 aspects that are really necessary to attract and retain our talented teachers. The first one being affordable housing. Our school district has already started an initiative which is commendable, and it is asking our residents to spare room for our educators if they could. It is wonderful, and we need to really keep up with the momentum. To push this initiative, school board must work with the city, and it has to make sure the construction which is happening in the city, which are the newer ones, they have to allocate a portion of the houses or the apartments, for the educators, which is a great initiative, I can say, as an add-on for the housing assistance. And secondly, We have to provide a respectable and a great working, valued environment for all our educators. Educators are the key for our children. They have inspired our kids in various ways, and so did I have one when I was growing up. And they should be provided with proper work environment, consisting of various technologies and tools. So spending money out of their pockets is a big no-no. We should not be doing that. And the thirdly is the opportunities to learn and grow. We as board should have various resources, technologies, and industry that we can extend to upskill our kids in turn for the knowledge to the better generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Robert Jung.
Thank you. Our educators are the lifeline of our district, and it is central to my desire to create a strong school district. I have 4 ideas that I'd like to encourage us to look at. Number 1 is to invest in our high school students and learn to really inspire them to become our future teachers. We can create this teaching pathway in our middle college, high school, to provide and leverage the passion and experience of our existing teachers. Number 2, I think we need to really create a pathway for home ownership for our educators. To do that, we need to really create and find partnerships with financial institutions that specifically support our educators, that, for example, can obtain special rate loans for mortgages, provide investment vehicles for down payment savings, and various first-time home buyer credits. Number 3, we should continue to develop this community network to support our staff. That includes rentals that should be capped at 1/3 of their salary, and financial partners that might offer things like specialty loans, such as security loan deposits. In return, working with our population of empty nesters, we could create a win-win situation where we could provide those residents with reliable tenants. And lastly, I want to work with developers and the county to create incentives to use Measure A funding to build educator housing. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Kelly Yip-Chuan.
Thank you. As we know, living in the Bay Area can be very expensive. We're surrounded by high-tech companies with high-paying jobs. But what about our educators? You know, one of the things that we need to be is be competitive in the market, at the same time keeping our district physically sound. You know, we compare and analyze what our neighborhood schools are paying their teachers, and we try to be competitive. You know, for me, newer teachers, educator housing is very important because they are the ones who would need that the most, and it'll be a great incentive. Maybe after their probational period, offer incentive as a sign-on. To retain the experienced educators, again, incentives should be awarded. Okay, and you know, perhaps have anniversary marks like a 5-year, 10-year, and so forth. We need to show them that they are valued and appreciated. And when the anniversary mark is obtained, we should acknowledge that, you know, by rewarding with some kind of incentives or bonus. I think they're very important and valued in our district.
Thank you very much. Siraj Viswanathan.
I think retaining teachers is not just our city's problem, it's also a problem all around the country. Especially in the Bay Area, in Santa Clara County, we have 16 incorporated cities, which Milpitas is part of, and every school district is struggling with the high cost of housing, and that's the number one problem. The way it can be solved is to work with the city and the county to find affordable housing units, which comes through the channel and assigned teachers. But I also found one federal program, which is called Every Student Succeeds Act, which is available to retain successful teachers in any given school district, especially when the school is struggling financially. So I will see I'll bring that to the board and see how we can incorporate and get help from the ESSA Act. The second thing is often the only pathway for a teacher to move forward, up the ladder, up the pay scale, is to become an administrator. So I want to work with the teachers to figure out a way how they can contribute as an administrator and get some incentive to stay with the school district. I think this is a very, very key point. What is next for teachers? And what is the next pay grade? So this is the ladder that they climb, and that is also one of the reasons that the school districts are losing teachers who are becoming administrators later in their career. So I want to find a solution for that. The third one is open survey. I want to do survey and make it open to public about the feedback that we get from the teachers. Because some of it, like the students, they also have bullying, retaliation, and those kind of encounters, which also makes them go away from the school district. And I want to attack that in the right channel and the right way and retain our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and pass the baton to Chris. Chris Norwood. Now your 2 minutes starts.
Thank you, Chris. Could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Our school district made waves recently when it asked families to rent out spare bedrooms to educators as a solution to the lack of affordable housing in Milpitas. Many have been critical of this move. Some feel it will do nothing in the long term to support our teachers who one day want to be able to own a home in the city that they work in. What kinds of practical solutions do you think will be effective in attracting and retaining the talented educators necessary to maintain the high quality of our schools? And can you back up your claim?
Thank you, Chris. Residents and voters of Milpitas, we are no stranger to controversy when it comes to the needs of our community. In early 1954, Milpitas had the first integrated community in the Sunny Hills community that allowed a number of different ethnicities to live in the city. Several months ago, when COVID was really running rampant in our area, our schools and our leaders came to us around the school district and said, we need to do something. We did something. We met the needs of our associations in terms of their asks. In 2018, we began this understanding about affordable housing. As Suraj has said, that the affordable housing for teachers or teacher residency has been an issue for a very, very long time. And we began to explore that in the Milpitas Unified School District. We do have a program called Landed, where teachers have the opportunity to invest some of their money and be matched by an organization that will allow them to have an affordable home. When we reached out to the community, it was shortly after the board passed a resolution about workforce housing, seeing that we had, over the last several years, we had lost a number of highly qualified educators. So when you talk about backing up the claim, the Milpitas Unified School District is already working towards a number of different types of solutions. We will leave no stone unturned. I will leave no stone unturned if reelected in terms of moving this initiative forward. In addition to what you've asked, I see 3 key points. We want to retain. That means the teachers that we have, the ones that are mid-year in their career and moving on, we want to keep them. We want to attract. We want to recruit. How do we recruit? We want to recruit nationally. And when we recruit nationally, we also have to have the ability for those people to have a local residence to be able to stay. And then we want to revive. COVID-19 over the past several years has been extremely difficult on our teachers. We need to recognize their mental health, we need to recognize what they've gone through, and we need to be able to support them. That'll get the job done.
Thank you very much. Your time is perfect timing. Let's move on to our next question. School safety is increasingly under attack, both metaphorically and literally. What do you plan to do to prepare our schools for the threat and or action of violence? And we'll start with Robert Jung.
Thanks, Chris. So school safety is paramount in these unsettled times. We need to really have a good understanding of our potential threat and create proactive solutions. For me, my approach is to really take a look at continuing making investments in our physical deterrents, such as fencing, better locks, other barriers. But we want to make sure that those particular solutions take into account that a lot of the assailants that we've seen in cases who may have already familiarity with our procedures and the school layout. So we want to make sure that those particular deterrents do not become more difficult for our students and staff to escape. Number two, I think it's very important that we make investments in proactive solutions. And in Milpitas Unified School District, we've actually have those programs. We've leveled programs from the Sandy Hook Foundation, programs such as Start with Hello or Say Something, where we proactively help our students identify folks who are struggling, who are having depression, and identify those early so that we can make sure that they get the help before they become desperate. And actually, the third thing I would insist we take a look on is if you're gonna own a gun, make sure you're responsible for it. Make sure you keep it safe, properly trained, and be able to use it properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly Ipchuan.
Thank you, Chris. So school safety for all staff and students is my top priority. Currently, our school is working on fencing around campuses so that there's less access for intruders. Our staff continues to perform fire drills as well as intruder drills on our campuses. These drills are serious and intense. I know because I participated in these drills when I was teaching in the class before the election. And, you know, we need to continue to build relationships with our Milpitas Police Department and our staff members at each school district, at each school sites. At our high school, we have 2 resource officers, and they are well respected by our staff and by our students. Milpitas Police Department also, they have a great report at our elementary level. Some of you may have seen Recess with the Cop. And if we continue to build that relationship, be vigilant, you know, if you see something, say something. If we all contribute, I think that would help our schools to have less threats.
All right. Thank you very much, Kelly. Moving on to Suraj. Is it? I'm not sure I'm getting it right.
Suraj Vishwanathan.
Suraj Viswanathan.
Yep.
There we go.
See, as a parent, this is a scary thing. School safety is #1 issue for me, and I'm sure many people will agree to that. From all the shootings around the U.S., around the country, what we have learned is that it all bottoms down to not the first incident, it's the 3rd or 4th incident which leads to a major incident. So what I want to do really is to create policies which will have incident reports, just like a simple fight, a simple assault, any sexual violence, any violence in such. I want it to be reported every few weeks so that we constantly mitigate the risk that is coming through the system. I think that is the first way to tackle this. The second thing, as Kelly pointed out and someone else pointed out, we have to reduce the access points in a school. So minimize the access points. During school hours, let's make sure it's locked. I'm just going to propose one, which might be a controversial thing, but I would also work with the city and the county to see, and probably the state, to see how to bring in no arms zone around the schools during working hours, right? Because we all have kids, and we all want them to come back home. I want to see my kid every night, and this is so important for me, and I believe it's important for every parent. So these are the ways that we can. One of the things that I want to tell the parents is you have to monitor the technology that the kids are using at home. Because of chats and because of the evolving technology, we also need to evolve as parents and be vigilant and in watching them on who they communicate with and what they do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's pass the baton to Chris Norwood. Chris Norwood.
Thank you. School safety. One of the largest topics, or the #1 topics across the country. We've all seen we've all witnessed what's happened across the country, and we've wondered, will that ever come to our neighborhood? So one of the things that I propose that I'm already working on and look forward to continuing to work on when I am reelected with your vote, is the School District Campus Safety Committee. Each one of our schools has a number of parents. Our schools are in bedroom communities, so it's those parents in those neighborhoods that have the opportunity to see something and say something as well. So my idea that we're moving forward with as the District Campus Safety Committee will allow each of our schools to understand what their environments are, what the risks are, and at leadership level, not for everyone to know, because as we mentioned earlier, you don't want intruders to know what we are doing to save our children or to keep our schools safe. So those district campus safety committees, very similar to PTA, will be a part of making sure that we have plans at each of the schools. The second piece is funding. We have a great relationship with the Milpitas police officers, but also they have other responsibilities in the community. So there are now federal funding programs out there where the Milpitas Unified School District can work with the Milpitas Police Department to secure additional funding so that they can have additional resources to support our schools. And third, school safety is also more than intruder safety. There is also the mental health safety. There's also the internet safety. There's also the bullying. So when you bring up the term school safety, there's a wide variety of things that we need to look at and what we need to address. Finally, I'd like to say I'm also a member of the Santa Clara County School Board Association Legislative Action Committee and the co-founder of the District Safety Committee plan that we're working on at a county level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anu Naka.
Thank you, Chris. That's again a great question. And definitely, like everybody else has rightly mentioned, school safety and student safety is definitely one of the #1 priorities. And with everything that's going on right now, it's devastating. So going back, I would say Milpitas School District is more than 50 years old. Some of the current security challenges did not exist back then, right? So we need to prepare for not just for now, but for the future as well. That requires few aspects to be focused on, which I think are really required. #1 would be infrastructure security and safety, like the buildings, the HVAC, and the lab systems and others need to be inspected regularly, at least once a quarter, to make sure that our buildings are safe for the children who are walking in and out every day. So safety and security drills, and they should be held in the classes which are currently going on. They have to be provided to all the kids and the educators, at least, again, once a quarter. And we have to help kids how to identify and notify for any suspicious people or the situation. So for which we need to have many more awareness classes or the sessions that kids really require at a very early age. And we have to support more police patrol around the schools, for which we again need a big amount of funding. And we have to equip schools with security guards, security systems, which again has to be tackled from every unit level in the district. And we have to help kids understand and report if there is any bullying, both physical and cyber, if I may say. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Great answers, all of you. Moving on to our next one. The pandemic and current social and political tensions, both locally and abroad, are causing an unprecedented level of stress on children and young adults across our school district. How will you address the growing mental health concerns of our student body?
It's me, right?
And we'll start with Kelly Ipchuan.
Thank you, Chris. First of all, we need to remove the stigma of mental health. Okay, at MUSD, we have moved away from the dependence on an outside agency for counseling to create our own. We have a program manager and a program supervisor who oversees the program and supervises the counselor. This way, we're able to provide more support and resources to the growing mental health concerns of our own students. I believe we also need to educate the students that it's normal to express your feelings and that we will all deal with mental health at some point in our lives. As a school board member, I will continue to advocate and champion for mental health support. Thank you.
Thank you. Suraj, I apologize.
Viswanathan.
Viswanathan.
Just remember Nathan or Viswa.
There we go.
Okay. So this, just now I'm starting, right? Okay.
starting now.
Okay, thank you. So this is an important issue. Why it's a very important issue is right after COVID. You know what happened in COVID? Kids didn't go to school. They were staying home. And you know, when you're at home, you can teach that much. But using technology, you can't get the max in front of them. You can't teach them 1 + 1 = 2. They can look at the computer, they can learn as much as possible. And if the parent is available to teach them at home, they can work, right? But when they got back to school, there is a gap. So because of that gap, but the syllabus hasn't changed. It's the same syllabus, it's the same homeworks, but there is a year of education missing. That will cause stress, that will cause mental challenges. We need to address that. How are we going to bring them up to speed for what they've lost? They also lost one more thing. They forgot how to be social. They forgot how to talk to another kid. They forgot how to interact, how to play, because they're coming out of COVID. This is another big issue. This is a mental health challenge that has to be solved. So I'm thinking about introducing the first one is a social emotional program where we teach about identifying what is stress, how to interact, and start with the basics. I think that's how we need to start. The second thing I was thinking about is a D&E program, which I just gave it a derivation. It's called Displaced Nervous Energy. So we have these kids that can't sit in a particular chair because they're not used to, because in COVID they're all at home playing video games, sitting at the same place. So we need to be allowing them using this program to stand, to be on a softball, or to sit down in the class. So this is just an innovative program, but I think my time is up, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's pass that to Chris Norwood. There you go.
One of my favorite phrases is health is wealth. So when you think about the issues that our children are facing and our educators are facing and our society as a whole is facing, mental health. I agree with current board president and candidate Kelly Yip-Chuan as far as that we need to be able to remove the stigma of mental health. Everyone will have an issue with mental health at some point. So what we have in the Milpitas Unified School District at our high school, they're building a area for our high school students where if they are having some challenges during the school day, they will have the opportunity to go there, to relax, to regroup, and then get a chance to get back to class. We also have a relationship with the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, or the the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors and their social services agency, where we have schooling services. We have a schooling services specialist, and we are looking to expand that program within the district as well. And then third, we also have what we call MTSS, multi-tier support systems, where we pay attention to each of the different students and their learning styles. The different learning styles, and if there are students that have mental health challenges or special needs, we are able to properly diagnose and also categorize them so that they can get the additional resources that they need. So those are some of the areas that we think about when it comes to mental health. In addition to thinking about the things that when it comes to mental health, we all have to relax. We have to recognize the fact, again, we are still coming through COVID, that we are all experiencing some sort of trauma. And when we recognize the fact that we have trauma in our adults, we can better serve our children. There are opportunities to introduce more mindfulness practices, more trainings of those types with our teachers as well as our students so that they can be well prepared moving forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anu Naka.
Thank you, Chris. Definitely, I would say mental health is to be addressed because it's a need of the hour. All the more the reason, post-COVID, we are all struggling in different age groups with the kids, not just kids, the adults as well. So I would say, I would want to increase the number of resources that are available to the school for students to help access and discuss their mental health issues. The more we come out, the more we acknowledge, the more we talk about it, I think the more avenues that we can research upon. So I would also create peer groups of students to help each other at the unit level. I was involved in helping some of the teens in another volunteer organization. And when I worked on it, I truly realized that I saw many children who are more inclined to talk about their issues to other kids. So it's the peer-to-peer, right? So that always definitely has helped. That's my experience. And I would initiate new educational programs and technologies that can provide meditation concepts, sports as electives for the students, especially the elementary school kids. That would definitely give them the mental health and to be proactive with the upcoming situations if there are any for their life. So I would also definitely specifically address and initiate the federal, the county, and the state programs, if there are any, and the grants that can be utilized and that can be brought to the school district to help the behavioral issues. Thus, the trainings could help the educators, the caregivers to help identify, recognize, and address the mental health challenges of our student body. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Robert Jung.
All right, thank you. As we teach our students to become more resilient, we really need to ensure that mental health is a key component of that education. In order to make that happen, I think we really need to make sure that our educators can recognize those mental challenges, whether it's stress, anxiety, depression, etc., and as they start to appear, and be able to treat that with a variety of techniques such as mindfulness and other techniques to manage those challenges. We also need to really get our families involved and caregivers involved through our parent networks to teach them the recognition of these mental challenges and techniques to reduce their particular stress levels so that we can reduce conflicts outside the school environment. Also, creating peer networks to provide support for those who are struggling to get help will be essential to make this work in our community. I also want to make sure that we have partners today in our community at the county level, such as 988 Virtual U, the Bill Wilson Center, and want to make sure that our community is aware of those resources. And that's it.
Thank you much. Let's pass the baton to Suraj Viswanathan.
You got it.
All right. Our next question. The content of our children's libraries are under the spotlight lately, and the direction of our children's education is in contention. Topics of race, ethnicity, and gender identity have become hot-button issues and community dividers, while elected leaders wield them as political tools. How would you keep the community together while addressing a proposed book ban at one of our schools?
To start with, just explaining them the concept of life. The concept of life is simple. When I was a kid, I wanted to become a doctor or an engineer or a airplane or pilot or a train operator or a car driver or a taxi driver, whatever. I've seen all these options out around in the world. Now, I was given the privilege to pick the option that I want. So none of these should really have a say, because when you're attacking the books, you're attacking the second, I think it's just one second, the First Amendment right? I wanted to make sure it's the first. So why do you want to attack the First Amendment right? For no reason. When you had the choices and you made the choices, give the choices to the kids so that they can choose what they want to read, what they want to believe in, and what they don't want to believe in. Who are we? Yes, I agree with certain parents that they want the books which are age appropriate when they get through the phases of their kid's life. That is okay. That every parent can expect. But I'm not going to ban any per se book from the library because it is attacking a certain race. Books are to read and to understand what other people think about life. If somebody decides to ban MLK book from the shelf, I will never know who MLK is and what he sacrificed. He's done a lot, right? Civil rights movement. So these are the examples that I can use when talking about this. I'm saddened by the PEN American institution researched that 1,648 books have been banned from March 2021 till April 2022, and 275 books further than till June, right? So this is, who are we to ban and restrict our kids from reading things that we were open to, right? So I think this is just a fundamental thing, and there's not even a question attacking the
Thank you for your time.
amendment. Thank you.
Chris Norwood.
Thanks, Chris. You had mentioned earlier that there are a lot of hot topics out there about culture, race, identity, and what would I do if there was a proposed book ban at one of our libraries? So in the Milpitas Unified School District, as a current board member, one of the things that you'll constantly hear me talk about is what we call our strategic goal number 1, and that's build a culture of we. Building a culture of we is about recognizing all of the different individuals, races, ethnicities, genders, socioeconomic classes, and that they all have a place in this world. They all have an identity. They all have the opportunity to pursue the American dream, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when you have the idea of a book ban, 1597, I believe, Sir Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. So when you think about someone wanting to ban a book, you're talking about someone trying to take away that knowledge because either they want the people to remain ignorant or they want to remain in power. In the Milpitas Unified School District, under the strategic goal number 1, build a culture of we would have a conversation about any book. We would allow the leaders of the schools, why did this book get allowed into the library? How is this book being used? And we would have that discussion because there are different types of learnings out there, and sometimes reading things that you don't like or you don't understand is what makes us stronger as a society, what makes us stronger as a community, and what allows us to make the better decisions moving forward. So those types of things that you're referring to in terms of the race, identity, we have learned, and we continue to learn that in Milpitas, that we have to recognize all of the cultures. Look at this panel up here. You have a very diverse panel. You have a lot of people in Milpitas that care about education, and we're going to continue to do that, and so that the idea of book banning, I don't believe will ever come to the Milpitas Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Anu Naka.
Thank you, Chris. Again, this is a great question. I love books. So I personally think and I believe in equal treatment to every person, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender equality, and accepting people as they are. That's the main philosophy that I believe in, and today I'm here, and I'm between all of you because I'm part of this society, and I'm a social being, right? With that said, district's goal needs to be to help every student for success in life and improve the quality of education, which the district is currently doing a phenomenal job. We need to look at every book in question with that lens. So once we do that, we also need to include everyone's voice during the decision-making process, if the book is supposed to be considered to be banned or not. So that includes parents and teachers as well. As I get there to the board, I would like to get the poll or the reasoning why the teachers would like a certain book to be banned if it needs to be banned. So we also need to include and have everybody's opinion. So I truly believe in inclusivity, and I truly believe in taking everybody's opinion, be it teachers, be it board, be it parents, students, anybody, and the staff. So as a board, we need to bring in unity always and not division. So it is unity and diversity for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Robert Jung.
Thank you. I'm a really strong believer that diversity is a strength. And to me, it is these differences in race, ethnicity, and gender identity that makes life interesting and allows us to consider different viewpoints. To hide that through a particular book ban or any type of ban is really to limit those possibilities. I really believe that we really need to teach our kids to be critical thinkers, and for us to be successful in doing that, I think it is important for them to be exposed to different ideas and viewpoints. As we prepare our kids for a future, it is increasingly important to prepare them to live in a global economy. They will need to be able to work with folks of different races, ethnicities, and gender identities, as well as different cultures. By exposing our kids to these differences early, they can learn how to deal with these differences and work with those folks towards common goals. I believe it is a true reflection of reality of what exists in our future world. And bands, to me, does not fit in that particular goal of teaching our kids to be global citizens. Thank you.
Thank you much. Kelly Yip-Chuan.
Thank you, Chris. You know, Milpitas is a very diverse community. We are very accepting and welcoming. So if this were to happen in Milpitas, I would ask, who are these people who wanting to ban books? What type of books? Do we need to do a study session to educate everyone? Our parents, our students, our staff members? Do we need to question ourselves why we are in the business of education? That's our business, is education. So why are we wanting to ban certain types of books? You know, one thing that I would probably, you know, just to satisfy everyone is to do a community outreach and get stakeholders' input before any decisions are made. You know, and primarily for me, I think we need to just focus on hiring quality teachers and staff and to avoid personal agendas. Thank you.
We'll pass that back to Chris Norwood here. No problem. Moving on to our final audience question. How can you work to create a more inclusive environment at MUSD so that students for whom English is a second language, students with special needs, and students of color feel welcomed and supported across all school campuses? Chris Norwood.
Thank you. Over the past 8 years, that has been one of the questions and one of the missions that I've been committed to addressing. We have now, at the high school, there is a thriving BSU that looks to work, that's Black Student Union, that looks to work with all schools in the school district going down to the elementary school level. We also have a Milpitas Inclusive PTA, which allows parents that have students with special needs to be able to network together and build relationships with our special education department. I am also the chair of the subcommittee for the Santa Clara County on special education, and we hosted an inclusive an inclusive education forum to talk to school board members and parents about how do we create a more inclusive environment. Several years ago, as a board member, one of the things that I had the opportunity to participate in was to make sure that our children that have special needs were able to attend their local schools so they could be included in their local communities and also be in the local classrooms. We also created, during my tenure on the board, a Randall World Languages School. Well, right now we have 2 languages being taught, and we're currently working on a 3rd language. So again, when you hear me talk about, or the superintendent talk about the culture of we think about race, identity, gender, academics, social, emotional, mental health, and what we need to do to help the children and the families of Milpitas to be able to thrive. So when it comes to that question, there's a lot of work already underway. There's a lot more work that can be done, and if I am reelected, I will continue to move forward so that all voices can be represented, all voices can be heard, and that we will continue to build the most positive education environment that we could have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anu Naka.
Thank you, Chris. And I would like to reiterate what Chris Norwood has rightly said. It's the inclusivity, and I have attended a bunch of MIPTA, the Milpitas Inclusive PTA meetings. So coming back to the question, I would like to say education is the key for every kid's success, and every kid is unique in their own way. So as a board, when I get there, I want to make sure we are erasing the opportunity gaps and creating a level playing for the field, for everybody, for all. I work with the motto, accept people as they are. I would like to inculcate this in all the students so that they include other children and families into the community. So I've seen few parents in our school district moving some of their special needs kids into the private schools, and I would like to get them back to our Milpitas schools. And I would like to expand and create new programs, not just for our kids and children with special needs or disabilities, but also for the high achievers. I have noticed a huge discrepancy or gap between between the programs that have been offered for the high achievers and the special needs kids. So I would like to involve other school groups like the PTA and PTSAs to help with tutoring and enriching many other programs. When I was the president at one of the PTAs at Sinnott Elementary, we have initiated innovative programs, and we have reached out to the community and the local industry to raise a big amount of funding and used it to provide 25 plus programs for free for every kid who would like to participate, with especially for the low-income families and the
Thank you
children
for your
of
time.
color. Thank you.
Robert Jung.
As we teach our kids about differences between each other, whether that be race, gender, language, or special needs, we should also make sure not to forget about disabilities and learning styles. I really believe that we need to teach our kids those differences, regardless of what they are, those differences are the ones that make that person unique, and we should really respect that uniqueness. I believe if we build that healthy respect, we will be laying the foundation for a very inclusive environment. At MUSD, leadership has already articulated a clear vision and a goal for an inclusive environment through its culture of we. MUSD already has several programs to include families to participate in the inclusive PTSA. We also celebrate our cultural celebrations, whether that's Lunar New Year, Diwali, Black History Month, and we also invite everyone to participate in things like our Trojan Olympics, as well as our Milpitas Elementary Olympics. Inclusion is something that we must commit to and continue to work at. We should continue to reach out to our families through our parent networks for additional ideas how we can be more inclusive. And it is this partnership with our community, with our families and community, that will ensure that we make this a continuing part of our culture. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Kelly Yip-Chuan.
Thank you, Chris. So Milpitas is a very diverse city, as we know, and our schools definitely reflect that. At some of our elementary schools, our PTAs organize different events such as international nights where families dress up in their cultural attire, present interesting facts about their culture, and they even give us samples of what they eat. And we also seen family nights where they have different types of games, sometimes barbecues, and they watch a movie under the stars, and that was before COVID. There's also engineering and STEM nights and other events that families can feel inclusive. Okay, at the secondary level, we have sports and clubs such as Black Student Union, Book Club, Gardening Club, Chinese Club, LGBTQA+, Autism Society, Latino Student Union, Vietnamese Student Association, robotics, speech and debate. Did you know that Milpitas has over 50 clubs and student organizations? We encourage our students to get involved. For our special needs family, as mentioned earlier, we do have the MIPTA to give support to the families with special needs students. We're always encouraging our students to get involved. We strive to be the best in the Silicon Valley, being the largest high school in Santa Clara County. We build community at all levels because we are a culture of we. We want to be inclusive. We want our kids to be happy. We want them to feel safe. So we are open to hearing suggestions or give us, ideas. We are open to that. Thank you.
Thank you much. Siraj Viswanathan.
Yeah, like the technology, our culture and our diversity in our city keeps evolving. So second language becomes a big thing for us to focus on, because we have parents who are moving in and they do not speak English. So the first thing that I would address is communication. A better way of communication for people who are coming in, it's we. That's the motive of MUST. And I believe in that we have to be finding a solution on how to welcome our new residents home and make them feel part of it. That starts with the communication with the parents and their kids, and it trickles down all the way. Now, just on the special needs kids, back when I was 21, back in 2006, I worked with this organization called Parents Helping Parents. It's an organization located in San Jose, and they specifically take care of special needs kids. We need to bring organizations like these into the fold of things to help us and educate us on how we can provide services through the resources that we have in MUST. We do not have the speciality or the uniqueness, because these organizations just focus on serving special need kids. We need to talk to them more, and we need to understand the challenges, and we need to bring solutions to the table. The third one that I'm more profound of is we need to avoid retaliation of parents that are bringing in their concerns, but the school district retaliates instead. I'm not saying it's happening, but it should not happen, is my point. We should be inclusive of no matter what the comment is, and we should be finding a solution for them, because it's the we, again, the motto of MUST. Thank you.
Great answers, all of you. Thank you very much. Before we get into final statements, we're going to do something called the lightning round, and I think I printed the wrong one here, so give me 1 sec. I'm going to pull that cell phone back out. There we go. I had someone text these to me just to be safe. All right. Cool. So the way lightning round works is we're going to go ahead and start with Chris Norwood again. So we'll pass the baton all the way back. We're just going to go down the line one after the other. These are fun, campy questions designed to get your juices flowing, get the audience to know who you are, get a little bit more under the skin in a fun way. So one word answer is, if you've got to stretch it to 2, fine, but let's keep them nice and short. And we're going to start, you may have heard some of these before if you were watching last night, but too bad. So we'll start with the first one. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Night owl.
Early bird.
Night owl.
Of course, night out.
All right. We'll start with you and pass it back this way.
Sure.
Breakfast or brunch?
Brunch.
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 Breakfast.
All right, we got one. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Home.
Home?
Being home.
Okay.
My family.
New Year's.
Christmas.
My birthday.
That's a great one. All right. Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
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 Wow. That's unified. All right. YouTube or TikTok?
YouTube.
YouTube.
And YouTube.
TikTok.
YouTube.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Tea.
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 So we're all properly caffeinated. All right. Cats or dogs?
Dog.
Dog.
Cat.
Chickens.
Dog.
All right. Last thing you do before you go to bed?
I try to watch a movie.
Pray.
Meditate.
Pray.
Kiss my wife.
Beautiful answer. All right. Peanut butter or jelly?
That's not a fair question. Peanut butter.
All right.
Peanut butter.
Jelly.
Ooh.
Peanut butter.
Jelly.
All right. And our final question. If we asked your dentist, would they say you floss regularly?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Honest answers here on the end for sure. All right. That ends our lightning round. We will end with closing statements. Because we ended our last question with you, we will start with Anu Naka.
Thank you, Chris. So thank you for being so patient and being out here today, everybody. And let me tell you why you should consider voting for me. I'm a stronger candidate with both financial and technological knowledge and experience. I would bring fresh perspective and energy to the table of the board and its programs, including the adult education. Every action the board takes will have an impact on the education of our child, including mine. Hence, I want to invest my time in the board to make MUST a more competitive school district in the Bay Area and in California, preparing for our global economy. I want to bring in the startup ecosystem, resources, and for the innovation campus to begin with. While serving in Senate PTA, being a president, I realized the impact that we created at the micro level, and I want to extend my expertise and innovative concepts to the macro level for the board. I'm an avid volunteer and has been working with various organizations in and around Milpitas, which helps kids worldwide. And I'm a strong believer in the community service, and I'm a Rotarian myself. So I have been a resident here, and I've seen the vibrant and diverse community in the city for over 2 decades. And I would like to serve more at a higher level for PTAs and PTSAs, which I've been doing over a decade now. And I believe my time is now to serve at the district as a whole. I'm ready to serve, and I'm banking on all of you for your support. Please vote for Anu Naka for November 8th elections. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Robert Jung.
Hi, I want to thank the Milpitas Beat and StageOne for the opportunity tonight to speak to our voters. I believe I bring experience and a unique skill set to the board. Having previously served on the board, I can hit the ground running as I'm familiar with the operation of the school district. My blend of skills includes out-of-the-box thinking from my engineering background, a sense of return on investment as an investor while being compassionate as a nonprofit executive. Because I served on the Dean's Council at the University of the Pacific, I have an education perspective that spans our kindergarten to college graduation. I have experienced that twinkle and excitement in a child's eye as he or she realizes that they have discovered something new. But at the end of the day, I'm passionate about education and the potential life-changing opportunity that it can offer. This is why I have founded the Milpitas Community Education Foundation to actually help provide opportunities and education experiences. I'm excited about the opportunity to work with our world-class educators, our board members, and the community in general to help educate our kids. I'm thrilled to see how our school district has grown and how I can help to take it to the next level. So I ask for your support and vote, and it would be an honor to serve in the best interests of our kids in our community. Please vote for Robert Jung for Milpitas School Board, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Kelly Yipchuan.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Milpitas Beat, StageOne, and our audience for taking the time to invest in our education, in our children's education. Your vote is very important in this election. Voting for me ensures that the progress that we have made as a community will continue. Again, my priorities are campus safety for all students and staff, early childhood education, alleviation of overcrowding at MHS, staff recruitment, and educator housing. Milpitas, as mentioned previously, I have 3 children at MUSD, one at the high school, one at the middle school, and one at the elementary school. I can understand and relate to the challenges of what parents and guardians are going through on a daily basis as we continue to come out of COVID. I have also taught in your child's classroom. I understand our teachers and staff what they're going through on a daily basis. I'm passionate about education because of my background as an English language learner. With Milpitas' diverse community, I can understand and relate to the unique and challenges of our students and their families. My community involvement is deeply rooted in Milpitas. I have the experience and leadership to continue my role to serve on the Milpitas School Board. I believe in the value of good education. I ask for your support and vote this November to re-elect me. Please visit kelly4milpitas.com for more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Suraj Viswanathan.
Thank you. Thank you, Milpitas Beats, and thank you, StageOne, for hosting this event. I'm grateful to be here. First of all, I'm very happy to be a candidate among these respected candidates. The one thing that I want to acknowledge is that for anything to get done, you need to agree to disagree. And I'm a big believer in that. Fight behind closed doors. When you come up front, you need to be unified. You need to lead the way. As a leader, you need to show the way. So these are my simple concepts. And as a board member, I will follow that to the core. I will follow the principle of we, which has been established as the motto of MUSD. So I'm here to represent you, to serve you. I have the qualifications to serve on the board. I am an engineer by background, and I'm one of the toppers in mathematics in my state. So all that being said, at the end of the day, it all comes to getting things done, and my top priorities is communication between the school district, the staff, and the parents and the students. That is my first, foremost priority is communication. The second priority is to address the safety of the schools, all the schools. Some of them are elevated, and my kids are lucky to go to one of them, which is brand new, and it has everything there, but unfortunately, the other schools don't. So we have to standardize the settings for every student, even inside our own district. Those will be my second priority. The third one is actually, the time's getting up, so third one is going to be just to serve you. If you want more information about me and my endorsements, please go to surajformilpitas.com. My name is Suraj San Vishwanathan. That's the way it's pronounced on the ballot. I'm looking forward to serving you after November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chris Norwood.
Thank you, Chris. And I, too, would like to thank the Milpitas Beat and StageOne for hosting all of the forums for the city of Milpitas when it comes to this upcoming election in November of 2022. I find it fitting that I was able to start the forum and was able to end the forum. The work for the Milpitas Unified School District, I live. I live it here in my heart, and I live it in my mind. When it comes to your vote, I want you to think about who is the individual that knows that Milpitas Unified School District has over 9,700 students in the district. Who is the board member that knows that there are 18 schools in the school district, 10 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school, 1 continuation high school, 1 adult education high school, a community college, and also 2 child development centers? Who is familiar with each of the neighborhoods in Milpitas? My 40+ years in the city gives me a good understanding of all the different communities that we serve and all the different languages and cultures that we have in Milpitas. When it comes to your vote, who do you want representing you? There are great candidates up here, and I am just asking you to be one of those candidates. I would like to bring my trusted, proven, experienced leadership. I have been involved in education as my profession for the last 20 years. I've been a volunteer in the community for the last 15 years. I have served on the board for the last 8 years. And as a part of that service, I was recognized by the California State School Boards Association as a School Board Member of the Year. We brought that award back to the Milpitas Unified School Board. We also received the Golden Bell Award, recognized by the California School Board Association. So we are moving in the right direction. If you want to keep moving in the right direction, you know who to vote for. Chris Norwood, November 8th, 2022. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Those are fantastic closing statements. Your answers to the questions have been great tonight. I do want to take this moment real quick to remind the audience that you are actually voting for 3 board members, so you don't have to pick just one tonight. Whoops. And that concludes our program. Thank you to our staff, thank you to our candidates, and thank you to Milpitas. We look forward to seeing you at the election. Join us again tonight at 8.